do that. There you are. You're all connected now. I can see that. Okay. Well, Miranda, why don't you start?
Okay, well, I have a few questions I wrote down in my strawberry notebook. So
Oh,
I guess we can answer, both of us can answer these questions. I thought we could do that.
sure.
So number one, what's your favorite place to buy bananas or any fruit to save money? Um, I do a lot of farmers markets, flea markets. I do a lot of discount grocery stores. Um, or like there's Amish grocery stores where I am. And I buy them in bulk. A lot of the time, if you're trying to save money, you should buy in bulk, you know? Uh, yeah, and freeze your own fruit. That's like you're gonna save so much money if you freeze your own fruit because frozen fruit can be pretty expensive. I don't know about you, if it's expensive where you are.
Yeah, it is expensive, but there are ways to do it. So I now buy organic produce, but when I was first healing, I didn't know what I was doing, but I only had access to what was around. And we have like fruit shops in Australia, and the local fruit shop used to put out all the bananas which were going off into boxes for like $2. So that was huge for me. I was on disability payments, and that worked really well for me. And as the bananas healed me, I got to then buy their brothers and sisters, which were organic. So, you can start somewhere, and as it helps you through life, you can buy
And
organic.
and when you start to eat better, you will be spending money or spending less money on certain things, like medications or doctor's
Yes.
office visits and stuff. So, I mean, if you're going to save money and, eat certain fruits and vegetables that aren't as like good quality, I mean, it's still better than not doing it for one. But when you start to get better, get healing, and like I can really invest in myself now because I'm not investing in certain things that weren't investing in me, basically.
And I think that's so important. I remember when I could first get up and get to the fruit shops, and I'm only putting my money, disability money, on rent
Mm-hmm.
and food. And I wasn't going to have my hair done. There was no makeup. I was using coconut oil. You've really got to know where the value in finding yourself and self love is. And I remember a lot of like that old control used to come up when I'd go to pay for it. And then I'd go, Sky, this feels good. This will all make you feel so good. And it took a few times that when I got to the cash register, I wanted to pay for things that benefited me because I believed so much that I could get to a place like this
Yeah.
through the investment. Whereas before, everything was a self sacrifice. Like, I mean, I go to a hairdresser again now, but like, it's my body's strong. Like, a lot of it was just like not serving me.
But
And not just that, but even choices like I don't go to the movies as often. I don't need to be in, not that I went to a lot of shopping centers, but I shopped online. All these things were not serving me. Now I got to invest my money in good.
mm-hmm. I love that. So yeah, basically just start out what you can and work your way to things that you want to be. That's how life goes. All right. So number two is, would you guys ever consider having a meet and greet?
I
I
love
thought
that.
that it would be funny to bring up because we were talking about that in our raw parties. Like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if like we all got together or went to Bali or something like that? I thought that would be kind of cool. But in general, I'm not sure at this time if I would do a meet and greet. I mean, we live in different countries and a lot of people live in different countries. I think you'd have to find a centralized area to do that, meet halfway in California or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great. I would like to do that eventually, but not at this time.
I think at this stage, until the raw fruits make us billionaires, it's better with all that good energy that wants to share the raw foods around the world. Is I have a couple things coming up. I will be going to America at this stage in September, so possibly, like, if I'm in the same area as some of us, um, we could connect then. And I am going to Thailand next year. But it's a matter of, I think I always think you go with a lot of what's meant to be. If you're around the same area or and somebody or admire is doing something, jump on that wagon and get connected. But I think it's just, to be honest, I'm just being totally honest, it's too early for us to probably do something like that. But in a year's time, I reckon we could probably, like, I don't know, look at it. But yeah, meet you halfway.
I know. I'd say for sure. Or like go to there's certain vegan festivals that are happening. You could meet there one time, or there's that one going on in August in Michigan that I'm not going to go to because I'll be down in Tennessee. But that's cool. That's another cool place to go, or just go somewhere where like-minded individuals are and jump
Yeah.
in.
I don't know if you're part of the Raw Food Meetup, Miranda. Have I told you about this?
Yeah, I think what you just bring food together. Oh, no, I'm not. But we talked about this the first time we went on a live.
Yeah. So you can do it wherever you are, and you can say whoever's in the area. If one other person, a vegetarian, comes, they don't have to be raw. But I think what we're really trying to do here is the reality of the life we live in is this. I want to talk to Miranda lots, so I can do that online, and you guys can join us. And the more we accept and appreciate what we've got and not always want more is a great thing. Like, I really think, and you're like this as well, I know, Miranda, where it's like, it's sit in that love. Like, I'm so grateful that I get to speak to Miranda every couple of weeks, or like there might be something else that comes up and, we're on a live again. And I just get to know her better and better, and you guys better as well. Like, not like someone like Tessa, I see like on all my lives. I feel like I know you guys. You have no idea how much I feel like I know you guys. And so, like, love that, because I think good things will come from this.
Right. We just be grateful for what we have today, and then good will come further and further in the future.
Yes.
All right. So favorite smoothie recipes, that's a very loaded question for me because I feel like there's so many smoothies that I love. But I'll list 3 that I like a good green smoothie. I do like a tropical green smoothie. I do frozen banana, pineapple, fresh mango, spinach or kale, whatever you choose. And coconut cream. Mix that all together with some coconut water. That's really good.
Holy moly. So good.
It's like, you can make it more luxurious if you add more coconut or a little less coconut for more kind of hydration. So I do a lot of coconut water in all my smoothies because it's very energizing and very hydrating. Another one is just a simple, like, honestly, a strawberry banana smoothie that you can customize. I love strawberries. I love bananas. I also do a raspberry banana kind of vanilla. It kind of tastes like a raspberry cheesecake, which I love. And I guess the third one, I would say soak some dates overnight and add in some frozen pineapple and a little bit of coconut cream again. That's going to be like a pina colada.
That's
so
so nice. That
What
all
about
sounds.
you? Do you have any smoothie or smoothie bowl recipes?
Sure. So I think it's because I don't have a stomach. I really don't do well with smoothies, but nice creams, like you freeze it, and I think it's just the transit time. I need it a bit stuck, so that helps. So I love acai. And we have here acai bowls with no sugar. And if you've had an acai bowl that's sugar-free, it's very bitter. And I love that. And sometimes I'll get fruit topped on it. And sometimes I'll bring my own nut butter, like a raw nut butter, because I don't eat cooked food, and add that. Crazy good. Or I make I like berry bowls. Like, I love any berries, any frozen berries, a little bit of banana. I can have a histamine intolerance, so I'm not great with like lots of banana. But I would do like a berry bowl, banana. And when I was, I will do hemp seed, but I know some people want to lower the fat content, and sometimes I've done hemp protein, and that will still make it creamier without it being too much. Yeah, and the other is, and this was when I used to eat bananas, I used to love just doing bananas with dates, and doing it would be like a sticky date. Like like you blend up the bananas and you put and you got sticky date all through it. And I loved that. But I've got, as I said, with the histamine intolerance, I have to be careful. So I was going to bring that up, this one up here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to talk on that at all?
My question is what to do if you can't digest raw green leaves like cabbage or lettuce. Well, certain cruciferous veggies like cabbage, cauliflower, or broccoli can be somewhat hard to digest if your gut microbiome, doesn't have a lot of the good bacteria. So then it can get kind of bloaty and gassy there. So I guess like before going towards like cabbage, I mean lettuce is pretty low in that. So it was really high in water. So
Yeah.
just stick to maybe romaine lettuce, so some shredded iceberg lettuce, or even spinach. But I mean, maybe stay away from kale and cabbage. Maybe you can slightly blanch it if you want, because that kind of lowers the FODMAP like levels. But I mean, just slowly incorporate it into your diet if you really want it into your diet. Sometimes we start to do things too fast, and our body needs time to adjust.
Yeah, so I want to talk on this because I got to a stage where I was doing mostly watermelon and grapes and I couldn't digest anything. And here's me thinking, oh, that because the foods aren't, I can't do anything. I'm getting in this mindset, my body can't do anything, but it's like optimal for just watery foods. And I was really suffering. And I've worked really hard on my gut. I have no stomach, duodenum, or top of intestines, which made it even scarier, I guess, for someone like me. But what essentially healed me is getting as much variety of food back in. And that's taken years from where I was, where I ended up not well with being too high on fruits. But some things that helped me, and working on your gut is such a personal journey, but some things that really helped me was making sure, and I don't take any supplements besides B12 shots. I am missing the part of my stomach which absorbs the B12. So I take a shot every now and then, not as much as I used to before raw foods. I take magnesium at night. That helped. And I take Lou Corona's probiotic and enzymes. I also have noticed that there's a tendency to look at cabbage or lettuce with low calories, and now I've got to consume a mass.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. The energetics of food seem to really sustain me. As in, like, I don't, if something's taking a while to digest, the body is using energy. If you've got a swollen belly, there is energy in there. The body will break it down over time. But I do, like, you can do spinach is a lot lighter on the stomach, but you want to add the lettuce in or the cabbage, just small amounts, mixed in with other things you can digest while you're taking supplements, which will benefit. There is many things like glutathione. There's, I think what else is there? There's other things that I tried which didn't work for me, but work for other people. You've really got to play around. You've got to look after these organs. So avoiding things doesn't work. Even getting a little bit, see what you can do, like grate a little bit of cabbage on your salad just to get your microbiome. The microbiome, we forget when we go on this journey because we've been so sick that the body actually has resilience and will adapt. That's what I learned. I forgot that the body does that.
I agree. I guess a part of me in the past was always to avoid stuff because I had like IBS issues and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, this is harming me, so I need to avoid this. So it's like you said, it's a constant journey, even like a personal like mindset journey still for me. So I'm like, I don't need to necessarily avoid something that I do want to implement into my diet, but I guess like it's how much I do want to implement it. Like part of me, like, there are certain foods that maybe my body doesn't respond well to, and I won't be hurt necessarily if I can't eat it. Like celery, for example. Like I have like itchiness and like weird stuff going on when I eat celery. So I'm like, I slowly can incorporate it, and the body adapts. I used to be allergic to a lot of different stuff, but I eventually just worked on it and like constantly slowly adding it into my diet, and it's fine now. Celery and like
I
raw
love that.
yeah, I mean it's and I don't have seasonal allergies anymore, which is another thing I'd like to talk about in the future maybe.
Sure.
Allergies, I feel like we can feed the allergies in their body. Like you said you have histamine issues sometimes.
Yeah.
It's the body's like the way that our body can basically fight off things. Anyway, going on a
But like
tangent.
also like so seasonal allergies are histamines, and
Yeah.
I knew this before I've even seen doctors talk about it, is we have a bucket and we need the histamines to direct the immune system. It's like it's directing things where to go, where there's, something's a bit flared, histamines go there to pull the white blood cells. Now, if you are blocked up, you've got IBS, you've been eating we've got buckets. Okay. When you're on this diet, you can really lower the bucket, right? So the environment, things like mold, perfumes, start creating histamines, and then you go eat a big histamine meal that's like really cooked and dense and aged. You got all these histamines going, and so we get constant allergies. Then you're in Poland and it's like histamine overload, and then we go on this diet, and not only do we start healing these organs which have been damaged from histamines, but we can lower, we become very aware when we've filled up that bucket too much. And so it's really important. I think what we're getting here at is we've both been through stages where we think the body can't handle things. But what you'll find is once you lower everything, especially because when you talk about cabbage and lettuce, is I can actually, with no stomach, no duodenum, top of intestines, is I can actually eat cabbage, and these are things I craved, and cauliflower, and love them, but did it slowly. And I was craving them, and then have a few days off, and then have a bit more with lots of greens that I can digest. And I never gave up because my body never stopped craving them. We're not talking about hamburgers here. We're talking about cabbage and cauliflower. And so, believe in your body again once you get, you lower that inflammation.
I completely agree. I guess it just takes some time for the body to do basically anything, but our body's always looking out for us. So we should be doing that too.
Yeah.
So another one is combining low fat and high fat foods okay for digestion, like dates and almond butter? There's a lot of mixed information out there when it comes to like food combining. And personally, I don't really subscribe to the belief that you can't combine foods. I mean, I feel like certain foods, like fruit, for example, should be most of the time eaten by themselves because they're very fast digesting. But I still do eat, dates with peanut butter, like organic peanut butter or almond butter or something like that that's higher in fat. As long as you're like we were talking about, that your body can handle it. Like if you're coming from a very, very high fat diet, very cooked diet too, it might not be as good for digestion. But I don't know, I personally don't worry about the food combining. I guess I trust my body and knowing what to do and where to go with it, really.
And if I could bestow anything on anyone, it would be to trust your body and yourself. Learn to do that over anything you read. Like that warning sign when you hear something that somebody's saying and you're like, oh, I couldn't do that. Right now, you can't. Give yourself, maybe in the future you can, or maybe it doesn't resonate with you, but really like trusting in your body. What I noticed about food combining is I was like trying to be like perfect, and you get caught up in trying to do that. But it didn't make sense to me where people are trying to build the microbiome and you need little bits of lots of different foods. Now, I notice when I eat a normal sized meal, and I've got some greens and even some fruit and some nut butter and all sorts, you can put anything in the bowl. And it's what you call a normal sized meal. I'm fine. If I went and ate a whole heap of peanuts and nuts and then went and ate half a watermelon, there's problems. Like it's like that's kind of common sense though, right?
Right.
I don't know. That's the only time it applies is when it's like, for me, is volume. If I got myself a normal size smoothie bowl and had a little bits of lots of things and it was just like a standard size meal, I'm fine. But when I've eaten like a lot of something and then I eat a lot of something on a completely different end of the scale,
Yeah.
that's like where I go, whoa. But that's like common sense. Like I feel like if someone went and ate like cheese, who had it on a normal diet, and then they go eat half a watermelon, they're gonna have, like, it's kind of like it doesn't change just because we're eating raw. Does that
Right.
make
No, it totally. I always eat melons like the first thing in the morning
Yeah.
because it's just they're so, hydrating and fast digesting. So even like after a big fruit smoothie, I wouldn't really eat a watermelon because I put a lot of different stuff in there because I just like to start the day with melon because that's just I don't know. My digestion's best like that. But we had some questions on there if you wanted to. Can I highlight them?
Sure. Can you bring it up at all? Or I can, if
No,
not,
I
which one? Okay, which one? We've got the
hold on. Vegetarian is this our culture says being vegan is good for everyone, but raw veggies are not. It depends on body type. Check Ayurveda. I mean, like we just said, you should trust your body, and not everything works for everyone, right?
so I feel really strongly about this because you're talking about something you've read and been taught, and that kept me sick for 32 years. 60 surgeries, 7 major organs removed. The only time I got well was when I let go of all of this. And I mean all of it. Like I couldn't read, write. I went to university, studied science for 5 years, and all of it had to go. And it was intuition. And if I ate that food and I follow, and this is the problem with people getting on the internet and telling you what to do, is I would be sick. So if I went, oh, this person's right, and that's what a lot of people do, and this is why I love talking to people like you. It's like trust in yourself, because Miranda and I don't even eat the same every day. We're in different places in the world. You've got to trust in your body, and when maybe what's stopping, I'm not saying there's not principles in this that may help you, but if you blindly read and trust, and that's it, there's no room for variation. Maybe that's why you're not reaching the goals you want. I had to leave what everyone had taught me, and just trust in things that worked for me. It was literally like I ate the cooked carrot and I couldn't get up. And I ate the carrot raw and I healed on veggies. I couldn't tolerate a lot of fruit because I'm missing my stomach and I get dumping syndrome. So I feel very passionately about that.
No, yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I guess sometimes we're so stuck in what we know and what everyone else around us is doing and what everyone else knows. So a lot of people, I guess, are, lacking some self-awareness. Oh, like, am I actually believing in this, or is this something that was taught to me? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't subscribe to any like one size fits all sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, raw veggies are amazing. We are designed to eat lots of living plant foods. So, and it's going to make you feel good and live long, happy lives.
That's right. There's some question. There's some up the top. Obviously you can't see. So there's this here. I've never heard of this.
Is it true that you cannot mix bananas with blueberries because the bananas can cancel the blueberries' antioxidants power? No, not really. Not at all. I think a lot of things on the internet is fear mongering and just like some crazy stuff that like one study might have shown affected a subpopulation of 70 people. So, I mean, honestly, fruit can't lose the antioxidant
That's
power.
what I was thinking.
It
Also,
actually is almost impossible, because a lot of the time, I mean, maybe if you're eating it cooked, sometimes things can be cooked out, not antioxidants itself, So bananas and blueberries are a great combination. Basically,
yeah.
combining anything with blueberries would be amazing because blueberries are like they're so high in antioxidants. But yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that, and I wouldn't be inclined to believe that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I healed myself and got rid of media, it was the greatest blessing. Because here's an example: I don't eat raw food because you get more nutrients in cooked food. Look at is it leucine? Is it? I'm pretty sure like lycopene in tomatoes. Now, who is eating enough? Like I'm literally eating fresh tomatoes every day. I'm already outweighing. Nobody is eating cooked tomatoes that I know. I never ate cooked tomatoes. Like they're saying you get more
Up or pizza sauce.
but even that is usually processed. So you're not actually getting much of it at all. And so people will find any information. You can go on the internet and find something negative about anything or positive about something. So you're better off to trust yourself and what resonates with you. As I said, if you're like seeing the word blueberry everywhere and you're like, I really feel like blueberries. Well, think about it. Are they healthy? Are they going to harm you? No. If you see hamburgers everywhere and you think I'm going to eat a hamburger, think about that one. Think about it for yourself. Do the work for yourself. Like, what's your body telling you?
Right. we, I feel like, have been so indoctrinated over time, not from just school, but like media and big marketing or government or anything like that. All these big institutions and stuff trying to tell you something and then another trying to tell you another. It's just there's a lot of info that's mixed. So, right,
Yeah.
like you
So I
said,
also I want to bring up this. So this is off the back of Ayurvedic and bacteria. So this falls into, I went to Bali and everyone's like, well, you can't eat raw food in Bali. Well, you can't eat raw food in Bali because of all the bacteria. I ate raw food in Bali. I felt amazing. So it's like I feel like we as animals, if we look at a raw food and it looks dodgy, or you've got it from somewhere dodgy, like where have you got it from? There is, I don't know how bad it is in India. I haven't been there, so I can't speak. But it's once again, like if I applied the principle of like, you cannot eat raw food in Bali, you're going to get Bali belly. Well, no.
I've heard that too. I've heard about like the water, like if you're rinsing veggies with water that was tainted, but these are very like small, rare cases. So, like
Yeah.
you said, I've never been to India or I've never been to Bali, so I don't know how, it is over there. But I think a lot of the times that if you do eat a lot of raw foods, your microbiome is better at
Yes.
like getting rid of the bad
Rid
bacteria
of.
and you have a better immune system and a better lymphatic system. So I think it just kind of trickles down to the fact that, oh, maybe like someone eating a not so good standard American diet, going to Bali, eating fruit, might not be able to handle that. But we
Yes.
probably could.
Yeah, if your body is running so efficiently, like, I mean, think of my contrast, bedridden for most of their life or in hospital versus up running 5Ks every day, then doing a Pilates class, sitting by the water, drinking coconut water, having just fresh fruit all day before I get to Bali. And then I get to Bali and I'm doing the same thing. I had a couple of salads, wasn't really drawn to it. I do know some fruitarians who live in India. It's interesting, actually. They're fruitarian. They're not the ones that I know are very drawn to fruits. I don't know. As I said, I haven't been there, but my body's running so efficiently that it hasn't got overgrowths of bacteria. So when that's all that happens is when you get one of these stomach bugs, you already have the bug in your gut. It's not like brand new. Most of the bugs are already there. You just get an imbalance. And then the body has to fix that by you eject it in different ways. So yeah, I think it comes back to doing what feels right. And if you make a mistake, well, you vomit it up and don't do it again.
Right. I actually had food poisoning once. It was terrible. I don't recommend that.
Oh,
I think it was honestly, I was still vegan at this time. I got this veggie wrap at a place, and I think the avocado was rancid. And I
no.
took
Mhm.
one bite of this wrap, and then I took another bite. I'm like, this is not right. So I returned it and everything. And then the next day, I got food poisoning. So, this was before going 100% fruit based, too. So, either way, like, we know what a bad avocado tastes like, and we know what a
Yeah.
good avocado tastes like. So, when you feel that, or like you said, like, we know what a good pineapple smells like or a bad pineapple. So we kind of just have that intuition of what not to eat, honestly.
Yeah. I almost think even the food picks up the resonance of an imbalance. And we do see that when you live, especially the higher you go, the more sensitive your reality is completely different when you eat raw foods.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time there's no sources covering you. It's almost like the vibrations, which animals would do. If you put rancid food in front of a dog, it will avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you put it in front of an animal, it will avoid it. It becomes more like that. So it's once again, I just think trusting in yourself a little bit more, and maybe
Yeah.
who knows, it doesn't have to all be raw. You can do some raw and some you're like, the carrots look off. I'm going to cook them today. Go for it. That's intuitive.
I would juice them, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, juice them.
I've been really enjoying juicing my carrots and having it with orange juice. I have been really loving that lately because it's been really hot and kind of
I love
so
that.
refreshing. Carrot juice is so good. I don't know what I've been missing all these years.
So I want to bring this question up, because I'm just going to make a statement here. Paul Saladino, who was carnivore, his testosterone taser doctor, Dr. Paul Saladino was a carnivore. His testosterone tanked, so he had to include vegetables to fix his testosterone levels.
Would you look at that?
So I just think the veggies talk. They've just now got social media to talk. So he now has a lot of whole plant foods. So I'm not an expert on testosterone. I could probably talk more on women's health, but
yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So it's complete opposite. You know, when we are consuming a lot of veggies, a lot of fruits, your body is able to create naturally occurring hormones better because one, our diet is in more of an alignment of what we like, not even just physically, but like metaphysically and spiritually and everything else. I feel like there's not as much adrenal fatigue going on. Your body's not producing as much stress hormones and stuff like that. But when you're consuming like meat and cheese and eggs and milk, they all contain female animal estrogen. So it actually causes your testosterone to get lower and you create more of the opposite sex hormone, right? So it's actually just a complete myth. You know, that's why they call vegans like soy boys, because there's just some long-term dogma and belief that men need to be hunters, they need to consume meat, and it's like a manly thing. So actually eating a lot of soy contains phytoestrogen and helps your body, no matter who you are. Like if I'm a woman, it helps my body stabilize estrogen production, and if you're a man eating soy, it helps your body stabilize the estrogen production, the testosterone production. So it is just a myth, and you can be the manliest man eating veggies.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know it did that. Wait,
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Do you know what? So I want to explain phytoestrogen for a second, because if a man needs estrogen, it's just a woman needs more.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got estrogens running around your system, and just say you start getting more estrogens and you've had a lot of soy, those phytoestrogens sit on the estrogen receptors neutral, so they don't have an antagonistic effect and cause the effects that estrogen does. And the excess estrogen a man's had will float past the receptors because they're full. So it actually helps men balance their hormones. And I see men who are raw vegan and vegan talk so highly how their performance in exercise, performance in the bed, everything's kind of gotten better. And I have been contacted by people who are on like a really strict fruitarian diet who have struggled. But to me, that's been like a nutrient thing. These people have eaten restrictive diets. When people are eating, especially, I actually noticed people who are having, men who are having tofu seem to be doing quite well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I see them like they probably look the best, some of the best looking guys that I personally have seen. I'm not saying you need tofu, but I guess there's more of them than there are raw vegans. So it's like, it's harder to compare. Also, if a lot of people eat meat, or here's another thing I hear often is they stop eating meat and they lose their libido. Well, in actual fact, the cortisol can act on testosterone receptors and act as testosterone in men and women, and men seem to notice it more. And I think men eat more meat is they think it's dropped, but actually you've been stimulated since you were a child, and all of a sudden you have to feel your body. So there's that changeover period. And that's why when people who haven't eaten meat in years and they've gotten deficient somehow, they eat the meat. And it's actually the cortisol, before it's even the hormones and anything else that's been injected, which their adrenals get very stimulated. If you've had no salt for a while on a raw diet and you have salt, you'll feel the stimulation. It's like 20-fold on meat, and it's burning into you. It's not serving you, but people are like, oh, I needed this.
Right. And there's this, I watched sometimes Dr. Michael Greger, and he was talking about, sometimes a lot of people think just because they have not been eating something in their diet, right? And then they eat it, and then they just create the chemicals in their brain thinking that they feel better. It's like, it's a placebo versus the nocebo effect. So I think a lot of the times when you're consciously cutting something out of your diet, you know this and you're conscious of it. So then you think, oh, since I'm not doing this, I'm going to lose out on this. When in fact, you're not. You got to be not in a lack mentality, in an abundant mentality.
Yeah, our bias will always win. So if you go into this being like, I'm going to try it, but it probably won't heal my MS. Nothing heals my MS. And you're like doing it, and your brain, your subconscious will actually seek out self-destructing behaviors to align you with what your thoughts are. And this was key to me going raw, and why I do recipes. And I'm like, I have so much fun. I was like, there's no way my brain can comprehend eating a totally different way for the rest of its life unless I align it with what it values. And that's why I'm a more recipe, I do more veggies, because that's what I was always called to. And that works for me right now. And I had to I call them, we have schemas in our brain, which kind of map out where we are or what the environment is. And my schema was it loves flavors. So I give it flavors. I had to align it. But if I'd sat there going, oh, this probably won't work long term, I would have actively, subconsciously seeked out a way out.
Right. We inherently are self-sabotagers sometimes. So when we get past that, we can really thrive and flourish into how we're supposed to be. Is there another question up here?
Yes. So up above or on the back of this, this, hang on a sec, there's quite a few. Hang on, let me bring up this one. We want to know how you got the fireworks.
I don't know.
I don't know either. You did thumbs up. Is it?
Can you try it? You gotta go slow.
I've seen mine's not doing it. What did you push on yours? I've got media assets. See, we're in
thumbs up here.
We're in StreamYard. You must have it turned on. I'm in StreamYard, so I can pick different things here. But oh my God, you're not going to get a little bunny face, are you? It's not activating for me. Maybe there's something I've got to push over in, I would say, YouTube. It's probably new. Or either the raw foods are literally shooting through at Miranda out through the computer. I'm betting that.
Actually, if you didn't know that, Instagram, if you do this, there's a bubble thumbs up.
I've seen that, but you've got fireworks. You're a firework.
Electricity coming out.
It is. There are electric. Okay.
Should we get another question?
Yes. So it just, somebody else has said it's interesting about the cortisol and testosterone. The body will use even estrogen as it can use interchange them. It prefers obviously the path of least resistance, but especially cortisol will, you run down your estrogen or your testosterone, it will just start using cortisol. And that's why women get the cortisol type physique.
I feel like it kind of could be a survival mechanism for us too. It's like, oh, I'm not getting in enough so-and-so. So your body's going to create that. Just like the fight or flight, when you're, certain stimulants can create fight or flight, excess cortisol, which that's what gives you energy when you're drinking coffee and stuff. So, and you can also do other things. Oh, hi.
Right. Hey, JJ.
Hello.
Okay.
Should I ask more?
Yeah, go for it. Out of the strawberry book.
I think this is a really good question. What has been the most significant changes in your life after adopting healthier eating and living habits? Wow. That's a very mind-blowing question. I love, I don't know, everything, honestly, in life, because you got to make it a lifestyle, right? It's not just a diet. It's a lifestyle. And everything about me has changed. Like what Kiko was saying the other day about how you have to really love yourself and be forgiving to yourself and others too. It honestly is such a holistic thing for me. My digestion's better, so my energy's better, then my mood is better, and I treat people better, my patience is better, and my skin and hair. I mean, all these physical things are better, but it really comes down to I just feel really aligned and connected to nature and God and just my life. I feel like I have goals, I have confidence, I have passion. All these things really only manifested when I really started to love myself and eat this way. How do you feel? Yeah. I know that you might have a lot to say with this one.
So it always brought tears to my eyes when I thought of that, because what it's given me, you have to understand, I was sick from when I was 8. I've had over 60 surgeries, 7 organs removed, more than 7 removed, glands removed, tumors. I was always in hospital. I did not know myself. It's given me life, but it's given me myself. I don't think I've never known myself until raw foods. Like it's like stepping into a place where you can see God, you can see the good in all people. Even when people are being mean, they're just trying to protect themselves. You see animals, like I was a vegan, but I was so sick I couldn't do what I wanted, and that is connect with animals. I go out for walks, the whole universe sings. I can walk, I can exercise, I can work, I can do lives like this. And it's like there's a place of gratitude, not just for the raw foods, but it makes you sit in gratitude for yourself. There's like, actually, I don't know whether there's words to describe
I know.
it, or like what you said, all areas of your life. How do you embody that? But it's how I feel about myself and other people and this universe. And I've got so much to give now. Like before, even if I could get up, it's literally A to B and then in front of the television being brainwashed kind of all day. And now it's like I'm free. I can walk, I can swim, I can talk to people, I can share, I can create. And you see people like Miranda and myself. I always know people who are so influenced because you just want to burst like there's fireworks. It bursts out of you.
I don't do it anymore. But no, I totally agree. And we talked earlier or before about how we are a representative of what we do, how we live. So it's inspiring to me to inspire others, I guess.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I guess, what it comes down to is just what keeps us inspired is just to keep going, just to keep living and inspiring others to get to the place of feeling connected to everything in themselves. That was one of the other questions, actually. It was, hold on. Wait, where is it? Oh, how do you stay motivated to eat so well? That's one. I feel like it's because I know how I feel eating certain foods and I don't want to feel that way.
Mm.
It's really that simple. And I have principles and I have beliefs and I think about my food before it gets to me as well. But yeah, I mean, it's really basically it. I just feel like so strong in my beliefs and my values that I don't even really think of other foods, to be honest. How about you?
The difference between eating raw foods and even the same foods cooked is so different. Who I am, what I can get out of life, that's the motivation, like who I used to be versus who I am now. It motivates me every day. I'm completely different people. How I see the universe, what I can achieve. One sec. Is so good. And that motivates me. I don't want to be who I used to be.
Right. I completely agree. I think we don't want to go back to who we were. So why would we live a life and eat foods that we were doing at the time of when we don't want to go back to? I don't know. I feel like I don't really think that way. I don't feel like I need motivation. It's just so like it's just always there for me. I just always feel excited. So I don't
I
know.
think also what I notice is this is a huge jump. Like when I've gone from where I was to vegan or going from where I was to paleo, yeah, there's a few differences, but not like your whole world changed. Like that's the difference. If I eat raw, my whole world is completely different. If I eat cooked, whether it's paleo or vegan, my world is
Mm,
very much not bright or light or good. It's just like a darkness I don't want to go back to.
right. Yeah, and I think that's the best way to put it. Just don't want to go back. So why do
Yeah,
that?
we're not going back, so we're going forward.
Another question is pretty simple question. What is your go-to breakfast? I don't know. I eat so many different things for breakfast, but I always start my day with like coconut water or juice or something like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like
I like getting it.
that always makes me really just kind of ease into digestion for the day. And then I most of the time have two breakfasts. If I have like one very hydrating breakfast, it would be like juice or something, or like a melon or half a melon or less. And then I would go in with a smoothie. Most of the time, I have a smoothie or just a bunch of fruit, or like you talked about having nice cream. I make sorbet with like frozen berries and soaked dates, which is really good. Just like something kind of easy and simple. And yeah, nothing major, nothing crazy, really. Just a lot of smoothies and fruit. Sometimes when it's peach season here, which is very soon, I will just eat peaches.
Love that.
Yeah, how about
So
you?
I feel like there's three stages to this. So there's the first stage when I first went raw and I wanted to not come from a place of lack, like that I've changed over to raw. So my first meals when I was first raw, and you cannot eat as much. I don't have a stomach, but I would have like half an avocado, some celery or cucumber, a couple dates in my bowl. That was pretty common, pretty standard. And it kept me very satiated. I didn't feel like I was missing out. Then, of course, I got into the fruits where I would get up, and at this stage, I still really couldn't juice. It would be papaya or banana, and usually a mono meal or an ice cream. Then I got into the watermelon or the grapes, quite watery for breakfast. But when your body is so used to raw foods, like I'm 4 years in now, and what it can get from the food, it doesn't need what it used to, or it can assimilate from smaller portions for me. So when I say that, well, I'm still getting a lot in because I'm having juices. Like it'll be coconut water, then a green juice, and then maybe some sort of fruit. So it's still a lot of veg. It's just
Yeah.
in more of a liquid form. My gut doesn't want. I just noticed my gut doesn't want to be pushed all day. So there's a period where it just wants to hydrate, and then for lunch, lunch is like my main meal, where it's usually like the salad that I pick. So I'll have like juices and fruits, and then I'll do like a salad, and that will be well, we're just doing breakfast here, but basically, I've just gone off there. But basically, it's kind of evolved, and I recommend if you're just starting out, find a way to don't think that you now just have to eat peaches or watermelon or juice. Start like with crossover with some of the denser foods to feel like you're having more of like a meal um, to start.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would before I went fruit based, I was like mostly high carb vegan. But I would eat kind of a dry breakfast. And I always wondered like, why do I feel so tired all the time? And then I went gluten free and then I went fruit based. And then I'm like, wow, I have never had energy in my life. Like, I really didn't. I don't know what energy was before doing this. I just feel like for me, I'm a very simple person, so I can eat just peaches all day, basically, until I have a dinner, which will be like a salad or something, or like, some boiled potatoes or something like really easy. Some days in the summer, I am fully raw, which I feel so good. I should try it for like a month just to see how I do. Um, but yeah, just a simple breakfast and just ease your way into it because you don't have to do anything overnight. And I kind of did try to ease into it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in. And I bought a blender and I bought all these things. I'm like, I just feel too good. I don't want to take it slow.
And that's it. You change from eating because of the taste and that quick stimulation to eating for feeling constantly good. So it's
Right.
a different mindset. But yeah, when I started, and I come from a lot of addictions, is what I was called to was having like something denser that made me feel full. It was like half an avocado, a few sticks of veg, and some dates.
Yeah.
Um, and until I worked out that I felt better, lighter. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I hope that helps you. So there's a question here. Somebody left and they said, yeah, they'll be back and watch it later. But then this, what are your jobs apart from being dietitians? Do you want to answer?
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm a holistic nutritionist and I would do some coaching here and there. And I like to do, I have my own products I sell, digital products. So I'm working on some more too. So I do that. And I also work part time. I do wedding venue setups and also
Oh, wow.
to work at a local flower shop too. So I'm doing a few part-time things and part-time my nutrition coaching and stuff like that. So yeah, I used to kind of do that like more full-time, but I want to get out more into the community and make some extra money so I can buy a house.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So for me, I am a coach. I didn't study nutrition. I studied science when I was younger, but I coach based on the fact that what healed me is, I know what foods work, but also I want people to be called to what works for them. And I really feel there's so much nutrition that people sustain it longer on whatever they're eating. Basically, how I healed myself. So I do that. I have digital products like you, like ebooks, and at the moment I'm live as much as possible on YouTube and Facebook. So I make money there. I do the bundles, so I make money there. Like my ebooks go into bundles. So it's like the more I do this, the more you get connected to income. And it's all really streamed from the fact that I believed in fruits. Like I couldn't do any of fruits and veggies when I first started. Like I believed that if I put good in, good would come out. At the start, I was on disability payments. But I believed that finally I was investing in things that would make me, was moving me forward. It wasn't just keeping me afloat.
Yeah.
So it says, have you seen, Jillian's met Raw Christina? She looks phenomenal. Like even the makeup artist that does Jillian, like mind blown over how incredible she looks. So I don't know if we're looking at the same person here, because I look at her and I think she looks freaking amazing.
I do too, honestly. And I think a lot of people can just put like raw vegans in a box and say, oh, they're aging. It's like, where's your proof? Like, why don't we compare this person to this person? Like, when you start comparing people in general, that's not good. So I don't know.
We can also bring up Raw Christina's photo at 18. I'm just having a look now. She looked terrible. She looked like she was 100 there. Now she looks like she's 20. I don't know. People just grab something. I don't know whether it's coming up here, but I've seen her before and after shots. And like me, she looked like she was eating like a full fatty, bad diet. And she just was emaciated. What's it called? Emaciated. Is what do you call it? Where you're just really underweight and don't look very well. So that photo's not. Oh yeah, here we go. Hang on, let me bring this up for you guys. Just because. Oh, is this watch? Oh, here we go.
Can we bring it up?
I can bring it up, but it's not coming up. It's coming up as a YouTube thumbnail. So what I'll have to do, I'll bring it up now because this is crazy. I've seen these people who sit behind their cameras and talk about vegan deterioration. I'm like, I can't see your glow. Where are you glowing? Hang on, let's bring this up, share screen and search results for here. Let me share this. So this is the picture. I look like that too. So this is her. You got before and after. I'll just bring some of these up. See, she looks freaking look at this. This is her now. Like this is her now with the fruit platter and that. I mean, it's shadowed out a bit, but just keep bringing them up. You can see. Can you see the screen or not?
I can.
Let me see if I can add to. There we go. Maybe everyone can see now. Okay, so we've got here going on. So this is what she did for herself. She's amazing. This is her. Now let's look at her today. This is her back when she was 18 and she had diabetes, and now she's like got her own, what is it, like place in Hawaii. Grows her own fruit. I don't know if people are looking at the same person because she looks amazing.
No, I know. I honestly just think there's this thing against raw vegans and they're trying to bring people down any way they can.
Like, look how old her hair looks in 2006 and 2016.
Oh, she has a crazy mane.
Yeah.
Love it.
But
I want to grow my hair longer.
Look what she's done for herself. Gosh, I hope I look that bad.
Oh, well, I would like to look that. I would like to have extreme premature aging like her then.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I have better, I don't know. I feel like I look better than I did when I was 21. And that was only 6 years ago almost. I don't know. I just feel like when you're eating such loving, glowing, radiant, vibrant foods, you're going to embody that, you know?
Oh, sure.
I don't think there's anything that anyone can say to convince me otherwise.
I think also it comes down to we have been conditioned to think that photoshopped photos with these unrealistic curves and plastic surgery are what health is. And so when you see a real woman with her real hair and her amazing body and all she can do, it looks foreign.
No, I totally agree.
I don't know. I look at Raw Christine and I go, holy crap. And there's a reason she's got 1 million followers. It's
Yeah.
not because she aged
She's
early.
not. No,
So,
she's done so well and like helping lots of other people to do that. And I don't know, like she's very natural in the way that she does things, and that's how I think a lot of raw vegans are in general. Like we don't see a lot of raw vegans with BBLs or fillers or anything like that are trying to mask kind of what's going on internally.
yes.
So I'm a very natural person when it comes to that. Like I've kid you not, I've gotten DMs in the past and present that, oh, like you have Botox and you have fillers and you do this. And I'm like, I don't do any of this. I just eat raw plant foods, some cooked foods here and there, but I just eat foods that love me back. And I don't know, I think a lot of people are drawn to making conclusions about people because they can't understand or fathom that it can be more simple than that. Less
It's
invasive.
so true. A good way to see if somebody's glowing or degenerated is a contrast photo. So if you see Raw Christina with average people or people eating a normal diet, you will see how amazing she is. But because she's isolated in a photo, we start cutting people up. We start judging, tearing people apart. Or she's moved the wrong way. The lights hit some line, and oh my God, she's aged. But if you put her next to, you can't, like the way that I didn't get to meet her, but the way Jillian and the makeup artist spoke about her, like this chick's on another level. Like she literally just like being around her, there's like something going on there.
It's glowing, and I love that. And I feel that way a lot around you and like the whole raw vegan party. I just feel like I'm not with you guys on a physical level, but I feel the energy or either way, and I love it. And some people say that about me, and I think like it's just a give and a take. Some people, they're very energetically low and they kind of drain you for energy, and I was around those people a lot. And now in my life now, none of these people are around. I feel like because
Yes.
the way I'm eating and the way I'm living is such on like a higher vibration than I used to be. I don't accept it.
Yes. And I was talking to JJ about this, how when I discovered the raw foods is it wasn't like now I've got to eat this restrictive diet. Now I've got to force myself to have only green juice and watermelon for months. It was about choosing love. And I took that and applied it everywhere. So, as I said, for breakfast, I used to have avocados and dates, and I loved that. And that resonated with me. And then that set me up for doing, well, I love sunlight. I want to sit in the sunlight. And then that felt good. I want to splash in the water. And it was a follow through though. It was thinking about it made me feel good. Doing it made me feel good. And afterwards made me feel good. And that was foreign because everything I did previously was like, you're trying to get a hit out of something. You're trying to have stimulating food. You're trying to have a vape. You're trying to have, now you're in pain, you need medication, now you need a coffee, and you're only living for like this hit. And all of a sudden, if you keep applying that I love you, like that self-love principle, how does it make me feel throughout the whole process, you
Right.
just start attracting things that love you back and people that love you back.
Oh yeah, totally. I used to live that way too. Like I would get certain drinks or certain foods that made me feel good while I was eating it, right? That's how dopamine works. But then afterwards, you're going to get the brunt of all the different issues going on. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be a follow through, holistically. Just like it's a circle. Like if you feel good afterwards, okay, you might be more inclined to make the same decision again. But
Yeah.
people make the same decisions again after experiencing, like a sickness or a heart attack or anything like that. It is sometimes like you have to have like rock bottom sometimes for some people to, make a shift, which is I
Sure.
guess how some people work. But
My greatest strength comes from the hell I went through. Like I can only do raw foods and commit to myself because I know great darkness. And if
Mm,
people can see their darkness as their that's their moment. Well, I've got through that. I can get through eating a watermelon this morning, or because sometimes those choices come up, and instead of using drugs to get through, or like stimulants or something, you can say, "Hey, look what I overcome." I just want to touch on this quickly because I think this is really important because this conversation could go very low vibe, and that's not what I'm about.
yeah.
So this says maybe it's sabotage. In my family, the vegetarian ones look better. The vegan deterioration scares a lot of people. Even vegetarians in my country say they don't get premature aging because of milk. So when you understand that your role is not to force people to change their lifestyle, that you embody what loves you. We come from a world where we're trying to impress a lot of people, but if you embody it, be the bright star that attracts the people that were meant to go to the lifestyle. Not everyone's here on this time and this planet on this earth at this time will go vegetarian and vegan. But if you can just know that you're doing it for you and you're not here to convince everyone around you, you will start to do a lot better. When I disconnected from thinking I had to get everyone to do this or anyone around me had to be vegan, I just have to represent food. I eat the food and represent it. I go somewhere, I represent it. People are like, why do you feel good? Why are you healed? The food,
Mm,
nature. I'm not here to convince you, and I move on because otherwise you can get into great arguments which start to cause me pain. And then you just talk about this, then you feel pulled down. So you let it represent, you do where you're at and what feels good for you.
yeah, I don't, a lot of the times, like having a discussion or an argument, it doesn't do much for anyone. So I am more inclined to just say a statement and then that's it, and like see how people respond. Or like, oh my gosh, Miranda, like your skin is so amazing, you're glowing. What do you do? What skin
That's
products
it.
do you have? And blah blah. It's like I thank you for talking and asking me and like complimenting me about this, but it's not genetics, it's just not all my skincare. It's really just how I treat myself and how I love myself with my food. And there's such a disconnect there. I feel like a lot of the times they want, like some people want like a certain pill to take to just fix
Yes.
everything. And it's like, no, I had to do a lot of inner work to have stuff actually come out and
Yes.
manifest physically. Like, I don't know. I could talk about this all day.
Yeah. I just wanted to say one thing about the looks. One of my good friends is a beautician and she's known me since my teens. So done my skin. Even when I was sick, I'd get my eyebrows done. She came into the hospital and did my eyebrows and wax them and stuff. And she saw me, I think a year ago or something. And she said, holy cow, what have you done to your skin? And I said, it's at that stage, it was just coconut oil. That's it. She goes, it's the food, isn't it? Because she's using all sorts of things. Most people come in and I said, it's the food. She goes, we have been tricked into thinking. Well, what happens is, and I even notice it, as soon as I don't eat, well, I eat too much, I'll eat too much like tamari or dehydrated food or something. All of a sudden, something will come up on me. And then I think I need a product. The only time I think I need products is
No.
when I'm not eating like a whole food. Like if I get too stuck into something, which still happens, but it's still raw. And then you see how, and then you get that product, and then that product needs toner and moisturizer because it's dried you out on another level. So all of a sudden, you can see how it happens. But in truth, a beautician has been like your skin, and just like she could not. And I've known her, never had a compliment like that until I was using coconut oil and raw
Yeah.
foods.
I honestly think that not only the skin, but the body likes things simple. I used to
Exactly.
have a pretty outrageous skincare routine, and honestly, that's some of the time when I had like the worst skin ever. And when I started eating better and simplifying my skincare, more just natural ingredients, just simple, like very loving and moisturizing,
Mm.
that's when it really changed. Like, you don't have to have anything crazy, but I still do deal with like breakouts here and there. And yeah, that's when I noticed that I might have eaten something not as optimal, right? A little more processed,
Yes.
or like I have more cooked foods than I normally do. And I know that. And sometimes I still make those actions because sometimes I'm like living in the present and I don't want to always think about this and this and this, but I already know that and I act that way like 95% of the time. So I think it's okay to be forgiving to yourself every once in a while, but
But also,
it makes you feel
sorry,
good.
also it's an elimination system, the skin. So just say you're eating, I don't know, too much garlic pumpkin that's been roasted or something. Is there more than likely something in that that your body needs? It needs it in abundance, and your body has learned that you'll eat a lot of garlic roasted pumpkin, right? So it'll assimilate what's needed because you're running efficiently. It will shift it, and then you'll go back to what you're usually eating. That's what we're hoping for everyone, that
Yeah.
eventually your body, because the body can adapt. It's not necessarily bad that you're breaking out. It's just releasing what's excess, and it's eliminating. So it will do that at, we just don't want it doing it at big levels, so you're congested and you can't function.
Mm-hmm. That can happen when like the liver is overwhelmed a lot of the time too. Like people have skin breakouts and stuff. It's not necessarily just the skin, even though it's the biggest organ. Your liver is an organ of elimination too. And sometimes people can eat too much certain amino acids that gets stuck in the liver that, it's this whole cycle.
Yeah, it's quite sad. There's some girls on TikTok I see who don't drink, don't smoke, they exercise lots, they have what they thought was a healthy diet, which was high in amino acids or protein shakes and protein meats, and now they have fatty liver. Their liver isn't functioning properly, to the point their liver's actually kind of shutting down. And these girls have never done, like, you've got people their age around them that are drinking, but they've really pushed it on their liver, which is quite sad. So it's like balance. No.
What inner work did you do? Were you talking about spiritual and psychological inner work? It's great to know that I don't have to apply 5 creams a day to have good skin. And I guess inner work, I would just say the way that I think about myself, the thoughts that I think every day, how I start my day. I used to start my day and just kind of dread getting out of bed. And now I start my day thinking about what I'm grateful for. So I think a lot of it has to do with how you think and how, you're talking to yourself. Because we can be our own worst enemy, and that's a fact. But we also can be our own best friend, and we need to learn how to, love ourselves.
Yeah.
Inner work, blah, 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 spiritual, and I mean, yes, spiritual level too. I'm a Christian and stuff too, so I think that also can help me, like, just be more grateful and all that. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do with your thoughts and how you see yourself and see the world around you.
Yeah. I tell you what really got me, like, what really keeps me raw, essentially, and what really the inner work is for me is, I think I spent the first part of my life seeing an idea on a screen, like us doing this now, or Dr. Morse or paleo came up. And then instead of actually implementing it, like getting up and being like, okay, applying some principle to my life, I'd research it. I'd research it to the point where I become an expert at it, but never apply it in a way. Like, I'd get these grand ideas of what I was going to do. And what I actually did when I went raw was, whatever excess energy I have, I'm not going to study it. I'm going to do it. It's not hard. It's just applying these foods that are going to be raw. But instead of going down rabbit hole, I felt like I'd done this my whole life. Oh, this is it. This is it. I'm going to go research the hell out of it. Oh, I can't start yet. I still need to read 3 more books. And it would like be a pattern of self-sabotage. So now, if I want to do something, I don't let myself get dopamine in the thoughts of doing it. I actually have to apply it. And that is work, because it's shifting what is already built inside of me. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I would be counting all my wins. And that's how I feel I got to this place where maybe I didn't do raw food all day, but I did it 2 meals, and that's amazing. And now you're going to give yourself rest. You're not going to read on how you get over this hurdle. You're going to now have rest, nature, or raw foods. I think there's this, when you can get this, for me, in a great space to apply knowledge you read, but when it becomes the dopamine pattern itself, and that's what I feel I did my whole life. A lot of people who are on this journey are the sickest who are the most educated. So they've done the most courses, they've done the most reading, they've done different levels before they've got there. But if you cancel all that out, they already have the knowledge in them. Don't worry about everyone's journey who succeeds is different. And the part, like, nature won't let you lose, especially once I got on the raw foods. I realized nature was always here for me. I've got to sit in her more instead of going away from her and going into television. This person's been doing it for 10 years. What do they do? Like, and I could never do it because I'm trying to mimic what I haven't walked the path of. So one of the greatest suggestions is don't use this stuff as support, but 90% of your day needs to be you applying it, because that's going to be the best thing. That's like huge.
I totally agree, because sometimes I still feel like I get into that whirlwind of excitement and planning and researching and always having to be armored with knowledge. I have to answer every question correctly. And I don't know, I guess also being a coach and stuff, I'm still quite new at it. So I want to always know what to say when someone asks me something, I guess.
Sure.
But we're human beings and we can't know everything. We're not computers. So we have to just, take time to learn from life experience.
So can I just talk on that? And this is why I stepped away from science. I was the most educated mentally and could recite anything about nutrition and health and pain and neurotransmitters and all of this type of stuff, right? But it made me very sick. And so I realized at this point where I'm broken, when I'd just come out of hospital again. I couldn't read, couldn't write, 6 surgeries, 7 major organs removed. And I'm at this most broken point, psychiatric issues, couldn't remember things, but I healed myself. I realized that all of this education had just been giving me dopamine. And as a coach, if somebody says, oh my God, I'm low in iron, how do you fix that? More than likely, it's not even iron. I was just talking to Jennifer Diamond, who healed her iron water fasting. As soon as she ate again, her iron tanked. Iron can be zinc, iron can be magnesium, iron can be B12. It could be a bleed. It can be your microbiome. It could be that you're having food at night and you're not telling us. What I can always rely on is, what foods are you craving right now? Like, what are you being drawn to? Because more than likely, your body knows so much more than Dr. Morse in a book can tell us.
Right.
So this is what happened when I healed myself. Like, all of my deficiencies went when I stopped reading and I started doing. My body wants a carrot. Eat a carrot. Don't cook it. That's bad. Okay, now I'm in the sun. Enjoy the sun. Like, any time I read something, we're already planning that we've got a dream life, and where the dream might be that I'm healthy and I'm a podcaster and I'm flying around the world, or whatever it is. Don't focus on that. You can't reach that tomorrow. What can you reach? Reward yourself for being a legend and eating a fruit meal. Like, that is high. That to me is amazing. Like, in the society we're in, like, if you actually do the steps, you'll get so much. It's the only way I heal myself. I've tried everything before this.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think a lot of people want too much too fast, and it can, I speak from experience in the past. I wanted a lot from life and I wasn't getting everything I wanted in life. And I'm just like, okay, well, I can't. Like, you can't just get at the top of the steps without taking a step, It's kind of what my dad said to me once. I'm like, well, that's a good point. I can't get just there by not doing anything. I can't sit here and plan. And it's that dopamine rush. I think a lot of people rely solely on that. And why don't you just do it instead of talking about doing it? I'm like, yeah. And
it's that simple. It's that simple. Like, if you, instead of, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just say someone wants to do, their goal is to just do 2 weeks with higher raw food. Don't wait till tomorrow. Do what you can with the next meal you have. It might even be it's all fresh salad on your sandwich. That is amazing, because if somebody planted you in, like, my body today with my life, you're doing the raw chef thing and you're doing the coaching thing, is the only way I can stay here, and when I take a few steps back, stay where I am and stay confident and help others, is because of the freaking lessons I learned along the raw way. Like, that's the healing path. The inner work is, these tools are handed to me, and nobody else, and they're only through sometimes my mistakes. But it's like, I just want to bring up this question is, what raw vegan amino acid supplements are not good for you? This is in, and I don't want to offend anybody, is I used to sit in a place of fear. You're not going to hurt, look, from where I came from, you're not going to hurt yourself by having a fruit meal each day. You will find the hydration will just make you feel better and more alerted to what your body needs. Where animals, all the animals out there aren't asking what amino acid supplements are good for you. If you provide your body with like nuts, seeds, fruit, vegetable, like all of the raw foods, like the whole spectrum, it will pull in at different times what you need. But if you start destroying that food and changing the composition and changing the proteins and pulling out fluids out of the food when you simply just cook it, it's never getting the whole what it wants. So it's always trying to rebalance and recalibrate. We're talking about, for the first time, you're putting a whole complete food the way that nature put it in your body. And it is the lesson itself. I've learned so much from just sitting in the sun and eating a salad or eating fruit in the sun, like literal downloads of how I am.
No, I agree. I don't think like we should necessarily be afraid of anything or feel like we're always missing something or something's not good for you and this is the best for you. You have to take this supplement, you have to take that. I think there's so much just shoved in our face constantly. And
Food.
there's so much noise. I have to constantly remind myself like I can't be consuming more than I'm creating. Otherwise, I will just I don't know, be too
Yeah.
overwhelmed. I'm like, I can't. I have to create now. And I
I
find
was
myself
about to bring that
sometimes,
up.
huh?
I was about to bring that up because that's what Lisa says. Lisa can't consume before she creates. So she starts going downhill if she didn't say those exact words, but she gets on Instagram and shares and gives, and she can't get on there and just start consuming. And I notice when I'm going through a funk or something, if I start consuming, I become it. So I'm better off to go out into, I can only create out in the universe or create here with you guys. And I do that and I will take in a little bit. But if I take in more than I give, the imbalance and fear starts to tipple me over.
Yeah. And then like comparing yourself and saying, oh, I could do more or I could do this. And it just makes you feel worse because you're sitting here consuming, thinking about creating when you really could
Yes.
just be creating.
Yes. So that's like, if I can give anyone some advice, don't not even focus on the raw foods, is just what Nike used to say, just do it. Like, don't think I'm going to get up tomorrow and run. If you want to exercise now and you can't run, just go for a 10-minute walk. Like, don't, because we look at social media and we assume what we think a person's done or doing. We're not even getting a snippet. We're getting like an edited photo in a reel with some music, which is giving us dopamine. It's not reality,
Yep.
guys. We
Exactly.
want you to, like, when I create, I do put the feeling with it, but how that responds on your body is completely different to how I'm feeling when I'm like, I went for a run, I did Pilates, I'm going to put it all together. And, and then there's music, or you feel passionate about a statement and you share it, is how that imprints is not our responsibility. But what will happen is if you're only consuming, you'll find you'll start firing back.
Yeah.
And you'll get angry, which is essentially a you problem, not an us problem. But what I feel is, the more you actually do, that's the lesson.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, this is kind of going out of where we were, but I think a lot of people who are on social media are constantly consuming that are very kind of critical of the people who are creating. And it's like, why don't you create? Like I'm creating and I'm bringing value to the world and I feel confident and happy and proud of that, and I think a lot of people are trying to bring others down to the way they feel all the time.
100%. It's like someone who, you go to a bar and I don't drink and they drink. They want you to drink so that them feeling shitty for drinking makes them feel better. They can forget. If you're glowing in their face having a watermelon juice, that's we're detoxing them. We're making the bad kind of sit and go, they're not going to invite you out again because you're making them feel uncomfortable, and they project.
Oh,
They're
yes.
like, they
Yes.
project like you're the problem. And I'm like, but I feel good about myself. I don't actually have any bad days.
Yeah,
Not many.
right. And like if I feel a little downer here and there and like there's always some sort of reason why. It's not just out of nowhere, right? It could just simply be I'm consuming too much. But I was out with my old boss, and he's older, like, 70 or so, but he knows who I am and what I do and like what I love to consume, and he invites me out to places that I can have stuff. And he gets his beer and stuff, and I get my pineapple juice. And there's just no question, like, it's I feel like about finding the right people, like, cuz I don't want him to do what I do. Obviously drinking a pineapple juice is amazing and you probably should, but I'm not going to like try to drag people down for their own
Yeah.
actions. They are deciding to do that. You're a grown adult that are deciding to do that. And so am I.
Yeah. I think that's I think you've got to do what works for you and be in the space. So if you go out and you don't really like, this is why I spend so much time loving the foods that I make and eat with recipes, because if I go out and I really don't like my, I don't know, cucumber salad, I'm like, I have to do this. I'm going out, and a whole lot of people are all buzzing with the 7 courses and alcohol. Your subconscious will find a way to, oh, I'll just have a potato. I'll just have a glass of wine, because you're already not feeling good, but that's not their fault. You're
Yeah.
already in that space. So it's really about finding, you love your pineapple juice. You're out, you're talking to someone. You're responsible. This is the other thing, is no one else is responsible but you to feel good. And if you can't feel good on this, like what you perceive as perfect raw food, you've got to find your level, and that may just be for now getting rid of processed food. But be proud of that, enjoy, find a way to do it, and it will evolve. The more you sit in a space of love and happiness, and that's the common theme you see about all these influencers who get online. They're like, I do this and I love this. They actually love the lifestyle they've created. But if I tried it, it wouldn't be for me. So why does everyone watch social media and think that doing someone else's lifestyle is going to fix their problems? It's about doing that inner work of, how do I feel love or start to feel a little bit of it? And for me, it's definitely food wise, because I become that. I can't shift in density. Like,
Yeah.
find me in density.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's just so much, just social media and stuff. I feel like just all the time. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and like I make claims here and there and I try to inspire others, but I'm not shoving people in the door of raw veganism. Like, I'm not doing that. The only thing I aspire to do is inspire others to try it, to implement it in their life however they can.
But also, you share your point of view. You're not saying they have, it's kind of what I see with you is, you're doing a statement and this is what I get. Like, I'm happy, I love my life, this is it. I share exactly where I'm at and what I love. But that doesn't mean that I'm wanting everyone to do it. It's just, that's my passion and my love. And you don't even have to share. I remember starting to see the raw foods and I didn't share straight away, but I was blown away with the vibrancy and how vibrant I felt. And I was just taking photos. It wasn't shared for, I shared randomly on Instagram, and even that was such a big deal at the start. But you've got to start, like, if that's what you want to do. But do it from where you are, because you will inspire people. You're not meant to be a cookie cutter.
No, and sometimes I need to remind myself of that. When I first started posting, I was I was just posting for me, and that's when I felt this like ultimate high of creation. I feel like I'm like, "Whoa, I feel so good," and then blah blah blah. And I go through waves here and there where I'm like a little more inspired, a little less inspired, but it's still always there. And I guess like sometimes I'm a little introverted and I want to kind of be in my own energy and just like really kind of be with the present moment. So sometimes I don't share as much, but it doesn't mean like the passion has gone away. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I feel like I need to be more intrinsic and like internalized. I don't know. But I always want to share and I always want to like just yeah, just bring the love. I have some more questions if
Yeah,
you want.
go for it. Where are we up to? We're up to, yeah, we've got about half an hour left. We've been
Okay.
going for, I blocked out 2 hours for this because you and I just go off.
No, I just feel like, well, that's good though. We're not just like cookie cutter asking questions. Like I feel like a robot. I don't feel that way. Here's a different one. What's one place you'd love to travel to? This is random. Um, but I mean, basically everywhere and anywhere on planet Earth. But I would really love to go to New Zealand, and
Oh,
that's right
near
near
me.
where you are. I don't know. I love the Lord of the Rings, and it was filmed there. And I love, there's lots of beautiful nature and stuff, and it's close to Australia, which I would like to go to eventually. But and
Come
Japan,
say no.
for Japan for the mangoes that Kiko was talking about. And honestly, like I would really just travel somewhere to try different fruit, like Thailand, for example, like you said you're going to.
It's like the dream really is to just travel. Like with everyone I'm connected with, is just keep traveling. You don't feel fear like you need to stay connected. I will say when I was really sick is not that I could travel because I was pretty sick anyway, but the first thing would come up would be like, where would I see doctors? What hospital would I go to? Like there's a lot of that's my situation, but a lot of people sit in a space of why they can't do things, and when you go raw, you feel so free. Like you could just go to New Zealand or you could go to Thailand and you don't need much. You can just take yourself and some friends and some fruit and you'd be so happy. And that makes the world a very light and bright place when you can be happy
Yeah.
on a beach with fruit anywhere in the world.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's where I want to be right now. But it's been raining a lot today, and I'm like, it's gonna see the thing is there's a perspective. This is random. But I was thinking like, oh, it's raining so much and I can't go on a walk because it's raining and blah 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 blah. But in the next few days it's gonna be sunny and it's gonna be so bright and green because of the rain.
I love that.
I'm like, wow, like, yes, this is needed. It's needed because if you don't have the rain, it's gonna be like brown and dry. It's like fruit. If you're not hydrated, if the earth isn't hydrated, it's not gonna flourish. It's not gonna be bright.
It's going to lose its vibe.
Exactly. It's gonna go downhill.
It's like got a self-sustaining vibe, right? So it has to rain and it's not a negative thing. When you start seeing that in Mother Nature, it's so at peace. That's why
Mhm.
if we lived outdoors, all of us, I just don't think there'd be any of the problems. First off, mentally and emotionally, because we'd be so in tune. I actually think we'd be so in tune that wherever a person is, if their body was out of balance, the food that they needed would be growing nearby. I
Oh yeah.
actually feel like that we like, there might be people like the earth provides what we need in the sense that maybe there's people who have a sensitivity to to a fruit, their microbiome, they've just evolved that way. There'd be a green that grew nearby which we'd be drawn to that complements it, which actually would
Yeah.
improve the race, meaning it would the human race improve the earth. Like I just think we're so disconnected from like we're worried about like things like amino acids or what's this person say or this person knows more or and you get rid of all that.
Right.
You're
I
just
think
like I want fruit and a waterfall and I'm good.
I sometimes feel that way. I'm like, I should be more outside. And I live in a climate where there's really cold winters, so I can't necessarily do that all the time. But, I could go camping more and like be outside more. And I always am like, I need to be outside more and more and more. I'm like, where was all this stress? It's gone now because I went on a walk. When you're
Yes.
stressed, your nervous system literally regulates itself being outside. It's
Yes.
just beautiful.
It's actually unbelievable what I was just talking to JJ about grounding in the electromagnetic field of the earth and cravings, and that when we are disconnected from the earth, the cells of the body, the gateways, that potassium, the sodium, they just start opening. And protons, electrons just start flooding through. Molecules, amino acids start flooding through into cells. Then we crave. We're dysregulated. The electromagnetic field is out. So and it's going to be like you might need sodium. Pizza. You need pizza. You think your cravings and you're a bad person and you're being punished. And no, if you're outside, and I was saying, like, when I was in Bali, before I went to Bali, I was high fruit. But I went to Bali and I'm in a swimming costume all day. I'm outdoors all day, feet on the earth, eating tropical fruit fresh from the tree. You don't think about these things. The body doesn't even need that much. Um, and when I healed myself, I was outdoors all the time. I went through a stage of having really bad histamine issues, would not stabilize, could not get my mast cells to stabilize. And I had to go to a netball game of my niece's, and I was going through a stage of just grounding all the time because my nervous system felt calm, felt regulated. And I was actually having such a bad reaction. My throat was actually tight. So with histamine issues, you can get anaphylaxis, you can get breathing issues. And, without getting into it too much, I went to the game with my shoes off and I'm in the sun. 15 minutes in, all symptoms gone.
Beautiful.
There's something somebody would take a pill for, but literally most of our problems can be solved by eating the diet we're meant to do and just getting outside. We really overthink things.
I used to have such bad allergies, like you were talking about, like the throat and the breathing, and I used to get like really red, watery, itchy eyes, and I didn't have
Yeah.
that for years. I used to take a Benadryl every day because of that, and it would make me drowsy, and it was terrible. And I felt so irritable. That was like one of the side effects, was like feeling irritable. I'm like, this is terrible.
Because histamines work in the brain and motivation. A lot of people can put on a lot of weight when you start blocking the receptor sites with antihistamines. Also, antihistamines don't get rid of histamines. They block the receptors that the histamines can sit on. So you're still flooded.
Right.
It's like another illusion that we live in. Essentially all my issues were mast cell activation. Most people's inflammation, it's all mast cells, all the histamines and these granules they release with like cytokines and prostaglandins and lots of other stuff. But essentially we talk histamines a lot because they're the ones that cause the hives, the runny nose, the eyes, and it can come from sitting around. These are alternate currents, and the Earth's field is a direct current. So I'm already throwing off my body, so you can get histamines.
Yeah.
Some of the foods, fermented foods, older foods in the fridge, and going on raw foods lowers that massively. So when you go outside and there's pollen, you won't have those allergies because your bucket from what you're doing in your life isn't full of histamines. Like it's like an overflow effect.
Oh yeah, I definitely had that. I feel like at the point in my life.
Hello.
He wants out. Hold on.
Go for it.
Hold on. Yes.
It's so interesting. I don't know whether I do many lives without raw vegans who have animals. I'm so connected to like animals. I love it.
Gosh, I would have the whole zoo at my. I mean, I don't like zoos, but you know what I mean. I would have like so many animals, but the thing is too with that is, I got my two cats from the outside. They were strays, so it's not like I'm going to a breeder and buying them. It's like, you're saving the animals. So I guess I don't really want to kind of take them away from their natural environment, but cats, they're domesticated, so they can't really be outside. I mean, they can in some areas, but I want to talk about this because I don't know if histamines have maybe somewhat to do with sleep, but
Yes.
okay, this person was asking, what are some natural ways to improve sleep? And I think that's a good question because sometimes people can really suffer from sleep. And, and I notice with myself, if I don't exercise during the day, I don't sleep as well at night. So that's one of the things I always try to get my body moving and, eating really well and eating a few hours before bed, not eating right before bed. I feel like definitely will help you sleep and feel more energized.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, so I think the basis of this, and I'm not saying you have to be raw, but I would say like plant-based, eat or a healthy diet, and don't eat close to bed, because your digestion will keep you awake. Exercise, nature, sunlight, low stress, all these things that people are like, oh, I got rid of all those. Most people didn't. You've really got to work on yourself with sleep or gut health or hormone health. And then, now this isn't a magic fix. You really have to get those in line. But then if that doesn't work, you can do sleep hygiene, which essentially what they do, because I've been in a lot of psychiatric hospitals and I've learned a lot of tools along the way, is yes, they give you medication, but if at the same time every night they dim the lights, they turn the television off, you have a cup of tea, there's no more stimulants. So you're having chamomile tea, you all go to your rooms, phones are taken away, you put a sleep mask on. Yes, it's not going to fix it overnight, but if you do that at the same time, it's work. It's doing the work. You do it at the same time every night, and you put on your pajamas so your brain is thinking of sleep. If you do it at the same time every night, it will have an impact. It may not fix severe insomnia, but you're training. You have to get into training for this. So there's like no blue lights. And this is why people don't do it, because they're like, oh, that's too simple. You have to do the simple things before you get to the more intense things, right? So sleep hygiene, and you can make yourself just a little kit with lavender. There's some lavender on your pillow, chamomile tea, put your pajamas on, face mask, and no phone, and do this the same time every night.
Yeah.
And that's really important. Now, if you've done food, exercise, diet, low stress, and you've got your sleep hygiene in place and you're still having problems, magnesium. I use one by Fusion, which is only in Australia, and many people have tried to find a mimic of this one because the combination helps me with my gut as well as, and it's the only supplement I really take, the only treatment I really take on top of everything I do. And my magnesium levels were fine. It to me is just probably an absorption thing. My body needs a lot of it to rest up, because magnesium plays a role in everything, but especially muscle relaxation, nerve, dopamine, serotonin, everything that needs to regulate. And I don't know which magnesium it actually is. I think it might be, I don't know. I use one by Fusion in Australia. It's called Magnesium Advanced Fusion. But this is the thing I need to get clear here, is this is not a pill. You can't just eat crap, be stressed, and think you can take magnesium and it will fix. You have to do what people don't want to do.
Right. It's like a lifestyle change. I think a lot of people are like, they would rather take a pill, like a statin drug, for example,
Yeah.
rather than eat more vegetables and eat less saturated fat. It's like sometimes the simplest solutions really are the solutions. What do you have to say about melatonin? Do you find that to be helpful?
No.
Me
So
neither.
out of all the drugs I've ever been given in my life, and I know you can get this over the counter, the one thing which I don't even like to swear, but messed me up completely was when I was given the hormone melatonin. I would literally wake up the next day, and you name a drug and I bet I've had it. I've been given everything. So we're testing on someone who's been given, and the effects, and I know you could say it's just me, but I've been on like 500 milligrams of OxyContin in the morning with 170 milligram patch of fentanyl, ketamine in a cardiac unit, blood transfusions. I've been like, you name it, I've had it. I've had Botox in the spine, local anesthetic in the spine, hormone medication. It goes on. You could just, all these psychiatric drugs, nothing for me affected who I was, and I just couldn't function. And it's like, you start playing around with the brain. I would highly recommend staying away from it.
I
I
totally
don't
agree.
even like that I use magnesium, but I noticed that I don't have a stomach, and I noticed by taking it at night, I would fall asleep better. Not only that, I would wake up and my bowels would eliminate a lot better. But remember, I'm not digesting like normal people either, and I'm doing raw foods all day. I'm doing exercise, nature. I'm trying to keep my stress down. And then if you need something, then I would go with the path of least resistance.
Right. And it's not like you're taking a cocktail of different things. You're just taking magnesium and
Yeah.
you said B12 every once in a while. So it's like, that's not like taking a multivitamin, taking this, taking that, taking different prescription drugs. There's a lot of things that people are always on. Most of the American, like over half the American population is on 3 different prescription pills. So I was looking at these statistics and like, that is a lot. Like, I feel like it's probably similar in Australia. And it's like, you can't combat all these problems and just thinking that, oh, well, I'll just take a big dose of Dayquil or NyQuil to help me sleep. It's not actually helping you sleep. It's just knocking you out. You're not having quality sleep.
And then you need to get up and have a coffee. And usually you have one coffee. Now you need 3 coffees. And then you're wired. So now you're starting to do something. How do I relax? Now I need some sort of Valium or sedative. And you'll find people's purses have uppers and downers, even if they don't think they do. It will just naturally have to occur. Or they'll drink. I'll have to have my red wine before I go to sleep. And that's the nature of pharmaceutical drugs. Also, if you have histamine issues, which most people do, is you can have a reaction just to the magnesium, or this is why I can't take anything. I mean, this magnesium seems to work for me, but I can't take anything because I react before the drug's released. Not drug, but even if I start taking zinc and I start trying to take L-tyrosine and all of these amino acids or something, and this is why raw foods work, is I don't get that reaction. So before you get these drugs, and then that's why I come back to my body recognized raw foods. That's the biggest download or feeling I got. I was like, this just feels like it knows what it's supposed to do with what I'm giving it. And that's why, especially at the start, I ate very simply. It was like, this felt so familiar, even though I'd never really eaten this way. And
Yeah.
as soon as I'm deficient in iron, you probably don't need to put a ton of iron in. More than likely, it's vitamin C, it's B12, like you've got a damaged gut. There's so much that it could be.
Right. It's not always about what you eat, or not even not like what you consume. It's more so what you're able to absorb. And a lot of people, they might be downing like an iron supplement, but still have
Yeah,
anemia. And that's because you can't absorb it, or it's going somewhere else. It's like, you just have to trust your body into thinking like, oh, I actually don't need the supplement if I feel like I'm doing all that I can with my diet, like you said. And like, I personally don't supplement like anything, and I'm fine. Haven't had any issues here and there. I need a blood panel. I like to do one once a year just to check on everything. But I have never
yeah.
been deficient in iron. I've never been deficient in anything. And I don't take any vitamin D supplement. I've gotten that so many times, like, you need a vitamin D supplement, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I get outside for 30 minutes. That's all I need. Like, at least 30 minutes a day.
So I want to talk about iron for a second. So when I was eating a normal diet and I had my severe back pain and they had me on medications for that and scans for that and surgeries for that, is I was getting lower and lower in iron and my hemoglobin was getting low and I was getting anemic. So I'm downing iron. Now, iron will make your feces or waste go black. Okay. So, but it'll also trick the blood test to thinking I have iron because I'm consuming it. Doesn't mean the body can assimilate it or use it. And I was bleeding out.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I'm thinking that I didn't know, no one knew I was bleeding out till I was near death. So these vitamins aren't going to get to the problem. And you are best to have blood tests, without having supplements. So that's very dramatic, but that's like, it wasn't going to fix the problem. Bleed, I'm having an internal bleed, and then lucky I survived. But also the vitamin D. So I also had the part of my stomach removed. I had my stomach duodenum and top of my intestines removed that absorbs iron. So one of the things that I woke up from surgery and they said, for the rest of your life, you're going to have iron infusions, and B12 shots and other vitamins because you're missing part that absorbs the iron. So this got really bad to the point where even when I was paleo, eating like nuts, seeds, fruits, and I was doing much better, I was having infusions every 2 to 3 months of B12 and iron. When I was really sick, I was hospitalized all the time and needing iron infusions. I was getting vitamin infusions, but these were the major ones. I went raw. My body stopped making proteins. Everything was dysfunctional. I started eating raw, non-specific, nothing special, just as long as it was raw, and I felt like I ate it. And my blood work started to improve. Within 1 year, I'd completely healed anemia, had had no infusions. So my liver was failing, so they couldn't infuse. They were only going to do blood transfusions if it got low enough, and they didn't even want to do that because my liver couldn't take it. So I healed my liver. That took 2 years to completely heal on a blood test, but every blood test went up until I pushed myself with doing like watermelon and grapes for months. Then I ended up with the iron. So in 4 years, I've had one iron infusion. Usually I was having 4 or 5 a year on raw foods. And people go, what were you eating? Whatever my body wanted. There was a lot of greens. And I think that's why I crave veggies. And someone's asked here, you're in Australia, what fruits are you eating? Truthfully, in winter, I eat a lot of veggies, and I'll have some avocado with it. And then when summer comes, I get back into the summer fruits, but I just crave veggies in winter. But it's just, I've gone off there. But like what we think of, and I was saying before about, my friend Jennifer was saying she did water fasting and it healed her anemia. And then she ate again and it went down. So we don't know enough to be shoveling
Right.
supplements in. It's like, to me, it's like a full-on drug that I take. If you can put that in that compartment, you'll use it as a last resort.
Right. And I think like a lot of people, oh, they see that they might need something in their body. It's like putting a Band-Aid on. It doesn't
Yeah.
solve the issue or the absorption issue. It more so it just like creates it for you, and then you become reliant on that. Just like anything else, your body tolerates that. So I don't know. I think it's better to just focus on your gut microbiome and your mental health and being in nature, like we were talking about. Oh, talking about sleep. I have this sleep spray stuff, which is
Is
really
that
nice.
magnesium?
It has some magnesium in it.
That's
Also,
really good.
lavender and jasmine as well.
I
And
love that. I
it's not.
forgot to say, I actually used to just spray magnesium on my feet, and
And
that used to really work.
I also have this calming balm. There's like vanilla
That
and
works really well because you actually can absorb magnesium better from your skin, and best to do it on your feet because most people are deficient. If you put magnesium on your skin, on your arms, you'll start to feel, like a shaving rash,
oh
and
yeah.
that's because you're deficient. So you should put the magnesium spray on the bottom of your feet so you
Oh,
don't get that
I
like
do that.
burn.
I always do that. I have also another essential oil blend with oregano oil and thyme oil and rosemary oil. It's so good for when I feel like I'm getting a cold or something. It like totally takes it away and like can like it's antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti literally everything. So I
I
love.
love that. I've actually loved this talk so much. We've gone through so much. Is there anything else you wanted to, any other questions before we, I just wanted to like start
I mean,
one.
no, okay, you're right. I think I might have a few, but these
What
are just.
about this one? Just to bring this up. I think this is a good question.
What do I think about white sugar? I think, like a lot of things, there are, a lot of misinformation about sugar, white sugar, cane sugar, brown sugar. There are a lot of things that people say. And here's my personal perspective. Like, if you have a high fat diet and then you eat very refined sugars, you can start to have blood sugar issues. It's not the sugar necessarily itself, it's more so like the high fat diet that the insulin, you become insulin resistant basically. So, I mean, personally, I don't eat white sugar. Like, I normally gravitate towards organic cane sugar, raw cane sugar, coconut sugar if I'm doing that. I used to never have refined sugar or anything, but now I find that, I have such a low fat diet that it doesn't really affect me at all. I used to kind of have like sugar crashes and stuff, but now I don't have that. But I think a lot of people demonize certain things all the time.
I agree.
I don't demonize sugar, I guess I keep it mostly whole foods. To just be honest, like I don't have anything against white sugar. It's just I personally normally keep it whole foods, and I know you probably do too. But if you're eating a low fat diet, incorporating sugar, I personally, don't really see an issue with that. But in my experience, I like to use like dates or something, or maple syrup, or like a whole food sweetener,
Yeah.
because I feel like I have more stable energy that way. Um, but if you're eating a lot of fiber in general and have white sugar in it, like I said, I don't have any qualms with that personally, but, what do you think about that?
I think as long as the focus isn't sugar, I know there's like a phase of this like sugar diet, and then
Mhm.
people are having like things, what are they called? Sour patches, and they're having soft drinks and they're adding more sugar and they're going, I'm losing weight. But is that the goal? Is the only goal to lose weight? Like, I think if you have whole foods and you want a bit of sugar on it, go for it. It's like any of the condiments, like as long as you know its place, it's not your diet. You're not going to have like just sugar for a meal. I think I've worked so hard at not having the part of a food because it was like my body healed just identifying with complete food.
Yeah.
Complete's a weird word for this, but like the whole food. But
Yeah.
if you want to add, it's like a condiment. Like it's like I add some turmeric to a salad or some
Or it's
onion powder.
salt. It's literally like salt. It's like
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things. It's like I don't live off salt and I don't live off sugar.
mhm. And it enhances the flavor of whatever it is. So like when you put salt on something, it
Yeah,
just enhances that flavor. It brings out the saltiness. When you put sugar on, it brings out more of the sweetness. So
yeah,
if I feel like a fruit isn't as sweet as I want it to be, I would put sugar on it. Or if I feel like maybe a veggie isn't as like salty or savory, I might put a
yeah,
little sea salt on it. Like
yeah.
I don't limit myself like no salt, no this, no that. It's like that's just too structured
Mm.
and strict, and I don't live like that.
I think also people need to take responsibility for their own health. Just say every study in the world said that white sugar was fine in moderation, and you try it and you keep having reactions. Don't keep justifying harming yourself by continuing to have it. You're like, dates work better, but apparently table sugar is fine. So I'm going to keep doing it. That was something I really had to accept. This journey is really about embracing what works for you. There's periods I can have salt, and there's some days I'm like, I just can't have it. It's not working for me. It's your responsibility. It's not your brain's responsibility to go, well, studies say, because that's, I think, keeps people just as sick. So if you have some white sugar on your morning watermelon or even I know when I was in some hospital, here we go. When I was in hospitals, I'd add salt and sugar to my meals. I wasn't raw. I wasn't even vegan at this stage. But I mean, that's how bad the food was there. I'm just, like I just think if you can follow what your body needs, you're going to be winning. Like you're headed in the right direction, as opposed to being, well, basing everything off what's happening to other people.
Right. It's like your experience is your own, and you can't always get everything from the exterior. Like I feel like we need information, always guzzling down content and information. It's like, how do you feel about that? How do you physically feel about that? Like, we need a little more self awareness and quiet time with our own thoughts and goals. And yeah,
It's a
and I'm
soul
learning
journey.
today, huh?
So we talk about all of this to inspire and to help and to not be so confronting. Like that's what my channel's about, is just like the truth of it all. But you really have to remember that we do all this. Why do you do all this? Some people, you are Christianity. I believe in this soul journey, which I think most of the same different religions, it's all about this soul. I believe my soul came here and to have this experience to strengthen, to grow in ways I can't understand as a human. But I go through bad times and I go through good, and no one knows what I go through, even though I can tell my story and people can go for a split second. Oh my God. They're then like, oh my God, I got to cook dinner. I got to get the kid. They're not worried about what I went through. It's only me. So your experience, like you have to understand why you do things. I don't just get up every day because I feel good from the food. I do it because I love myself and my soul's here for this ride.
I agree.
Yes. All right. Okay, that was amazing.
It was a really good live. So
It
great.
was. It was. And we'll come back and do more. I like it. Do you like doing these
Oh,
questions and
yeah,
answers?
I still have a few, and I know that you have some too. We didn't even get to yours.
We did. So, Miranda, you have to find a time and come back
Yeah.
and we'll do this.
Maybe not next week, but maybe the following. I have a really busy week next week. Going out of town, doing all this stuff, and it's just Anyway, yeah, it was fun, and we'll definitely have to get in another live soon.
We will. Thanks, guys. You
Thanks
make
everyone
this.
for your
I feel
questions.
like we're in like a little talk room.
I
It's like
know.
we're in personal talk box.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Miranda. And we'll see you soon.
Hey.
Bye, guys.